Cosmic Girl 101 signing on for the Aries rising April astrology of 2024. Aries rising, you have quite a lot going on in the month of April, and these are the topics we're going to be discussing for you. It's about the sun, the eclipse, which is a new moon occurring in your first house, then the full moon, which is your eighth house. Then we're going to be talking about Mercury, Mars, and Venus. These are our personal planets and how they're impacting you. And the all-important and very loud and significant Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Aries, opening up the month of April, you've got that sun continuing its transit through your first house until the 19th of April. So the sun is exalted here in Aries, so you should be feeling quite optimistic and have a lot more energy available to you when the sun is transiting in your first house. You could also be doing a lot of things on the world stage where people are noticing you, or you're quite public at this time as well, because that sun's illuminating you. Well, on the 11th of April, that sun is going to conjunct Mercury, which is in a retrograde in Aries in the month of April until the 25th. So the sun conjunct Mercury retrograde. Aries rising, you could just be having a conversation or communicating about your work or what you're actually doing in regards to communication projects. Could be reading, writing, speaking. I think that there's this 11th of April for you is quite important. You could have a really supportive day regards to all the work that you've been doing is getting its moment in the spotlight. So I think you're getting a really good karmic return here on the 11th of April. Well, on the 19th, that sun is going to ingress into Taurus, which is your second house, until the 20th of May. So now the sun is redirecting its attention and pulling all of your energy towards your first house. So your finances and assets is lit up here for 4 weeks, and this is where you're putting a lot of attention. So if you've been working in the background, getting inspired in your ideas or personal projects or even work that you do, even your physical body, this is where you get down to the nuts and bolts of how to strategize and make something a reality, whether you're putting your money where your mouth is. You could just be investing in yourself and really trying to improve your physical body when it comes to that transit in your second house. But Aries, it's finances that are lit up here like a Christmas tree for you when you have this transit going on in your second house. On the 21st, that sun in Taurus is going to be squaring Pluto in Aquarius. So second and 11th house here in a square aspect. Now, squares are about conflict. There's a strain. There's a problem, basically, Aries rising here, between you and other people connected through finances or self-worth and self-value. If you are not getting your money's worth, or you feel like you're being taken advantage of, this day is when you could really say something that's quite forceful or quite conflicting. It's going to upset a particular group or a friendship. But you know what, Aries, Aries rising, don't hold back. You're important too. And I think this day is going to be particularly empowering if you can just get off your chest what you need to say in regards to, I can do better. The lunations for the month of April are quite interesting, and both of the lunations are ruled by Mars, and Mars is your ruling planet, and it's transiting in Pisces, which is your 12th house of doing things behind the scenes. A lot of energy going towards your past, or trying to clear up your past, detach yourself from past people, places, debt, how you're intertwined and it's been connected for a long time. You're trying to just get out of it. And this is what I think you're going to be dealing with as well for this month and for a little while longer. But it's important to know that this is where Mars is directing all its attention and action and drive towards, is basically separating from the past. And these lunations are important because that's where Mars is. So on the 8th of April, you've got a new moon total solar eclipse in your first house. Aries, I think that you're going to be embarking on a new plan and strategy to improve your physical appearance or how you're known and seen by others. You're trying to change something. You're trying to really, this is like the total phoenix rising from the ashes energy is what I'm getting here for you, Aries rising. I think you are completely done and over how you physically look, how you're perceived by other people. And on October 17, 2024, there's a full moon in Aries on that day. This is where I think the big reveal is, or when it's over. So you could be really working quite hard between the 8th of April to the 17th of October to transform literally from one appearance to another. I think this is empowering. I think this is maturing. I think you're leveling up. And I really think that you're going to be potentially kicking individual goals and being quite independent. On the 23rd of April, we have a full moon in Scorpio, Aries rising. This is your 8th house. Now, the 8th house is about how other people provide assets or support to you. They've got valuables that impact you and influence you. So it could be a partner, a significant connection that you rely on or you find valuable and it's supportive to you. So when you're having a full moon in Scorpio, an ending, a completion, something's illuminated, something quite bright, I think you're separating yourself from a binding attachment. It could be a debt, a person's perceived support is not available, or you're just going, I'm done with you, or you're done with a particular connection that's been quite anchoring for a very long time. And that Mars in the 12th house in a sextile aspect to this full moon, it looks great for a long-term debt or financial attachment that is now over. So congratulations, Aries rising. I think you've got something quite powerful happening in regards to your financial situation that releases you from a very, very paralyzing bind. Okay, Aries, as aforementioned, that Mars is transiting in your 12th house this month, and Mars rules your first house and your 8th house, and he's doing his things behind the scenes and getting rid of crap from the past and tidying things up. Well, on the 10th of April, that Mars in Pisces is going to conjunct Saturn in Pisces. So this looks like a day to mark in the calendar for complete severing and separation from something that's old, outdated, anchoring, weighing you down, holding you back. It could be a work or career situation. It could be a friendship, an organization, even a dream that you've had for a long time. It's like, I need something new. So Mars conjuncting that Saturn says, I am going to really look at things quite laterally, and then I'm going to release myself. So it's like freedom again, and just removing yourself from exile and something that feels quite draining and drowning. On the 19th, that Mars in Pisces is going to sextile Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus, your second house of assets, wealth, value. This is your financial place, and also how it impacts your physical body as well. So I see this as a favorable for finances to loosen up, or you are now, especially after that conjunction to Saturn, it's like you've matured or leveled up, and now things seem to be in more flow and harmony. Aries, maybe you've spoken your truth about something from the past or to someone, or gotten rid of something from the past for a long time that brings in more financial security and safety, and like you're feeling better and more secure when it comes to that second house self-worth and self-value. I think this is a great day on the 19th. On the 29th, Mars in Pisces conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. Quite frankly, I think this is a day where you're going to be checking out and really enjoying yourself. So if you have wanted to take yourself away to a retreat, go on a holiday or a sabbatical, weekend away, go to a concert, just, really enjoy the ethereal side of life and the spiritual side of life, this is the day where you've got the cosmic green pass for you to just do you. On the 30th of April, we've got that Mars, your ruling planet, ingressing into Aries, your first house, until the 9th of June. So you've got a very empowering transit coming up with your home, your domicile planet ruler coming back home to the first house to give you power, strength, and drive. This is where you're really stepping it up in regards to removing yourself or being seen differently. You're not anchored into the past. You've changed something quite significant, be it financial, your dreams, psychology, your spiritual side of life. I think you're really going to be changing it up here and people are knowing and seeing you differently. So Aries, again, I think you've been clearing house literally in the 12th house. And when you've got Mars ingressing here in your first house to the 9th of June, boy, oh boy, are you going to be seen quite differently. And it's very empowering, Aries rising. So well done, whatever you're doing to clean up the proverbial past. This is the time now that you can really start making it all about you instead of other people. Now on to planet Mercury. Now, Mercury is all about how we think. It's traveling. It's spiritual travel as well, like going into different dimensions and connecting with the spirit world. It's also to do with how we communicate, how we relate to other people. Now, Mercury rules your 6th house and your 3rd house. So the 6th house is about health, work, service to other people, co-workers as well. And that 3rd house is your communication house, how you interact with your immediate environment, short distance traveling, siblings and cousins, and also education, which is where you do your courses and you learn things and you're educating. That Mercury is pulling information in. So that 6th and 3rd house is ruled by Mercury. Well, Mercury has been transiting in your 1st house, and you could have been thinking about changing something up with your work and what you do every day, or changing a routine up. And on the 1st of April, opening up the month, that Mercury goes into a retrograde in Aries, your 1st house. So you're backtracking here, recalibrating, rethinking, re-strategizing, taking time off, especially mentally. So you could be taking a step back from communication, study, what your normal haunt is. You might be going in a different environment. You could be going on a holiday. So you're just basically not as active. It's all about reflection. On the 8th of April, the moon, which is in Aries, is going to be conjuncting that Mercury retrograde. So think moon, emotion, your emotional body, how you feel. And when it's retrograding, when it's conjuncting that retrograde Mercury, it could be really in tune with, I like taking a step back and thinking about things differently. I think it's emotionally serving you or just giving you some time out. That moon, which is all about just being within the body and really connecting on an internal level regarding your emotions. So you could be reflecting about places that you've used to be around or work that you used to do. Did you do every day that made you feel really good that you haven't been doing for some time? So this is where you really might be thinking about relocating, changing something up for yourself on this day. On the 19th, we see that Mercury retrograde in Aries conjuncting Venus in Aries. Wow, this is a really, well, look, as I said, this is a really big month, Aries rising for sure, for everyone, but for you in particular, because it's all going on in your 12th versus 2nd house. So that Mercury on the 19th, retrograde in Aries, conjuncting Venus in Aries, this is all to do with the 1st house. So how people see you, perceive you, it's very visual, and it's all about the physical body, and it's about your psychology, And when you have this conjunction on this day, I think you might be putting your money where your mouth is in regards to investing in your physical body or investing in something that you do regarding communication or technologies. This day looks good for a return of communication from people from the past that you used to be around a lot, or even work colleagues or people from past workplaces that you did in the past could come back online and be contacting you. So friends could be coming back from work, or friendships that you haven't been connected with for some time. This day you could see a return. But I like that there's a conjunction here with that Venus and Mercury retrograde, because it's as if something's coming back online to give you a sense of self-worth and self-value. And like I said, it's like you're investing financially and internally about your self-worth in you. So this is a really profound day. On the 25th, that Mercury, well, it's going to go direct now in Aries until the 15th of May. So your first house again. So with all that rethinking, recalibrating, communicating, checking in with your emotional body and how you're feeling, taking time back from talking and communicating so much and moving around so much from your usual places, this is where things start to escalate and increase in speed. You've done the reflection and it's now full steam ahead. So it's as if Aries' phone is now turned on, email alerts are back on. It's like you're literally back online. So if you've had time out, and I believe it's a great way to tune out this month for Aries rising, if you choose so or can, because from the 25th, this is where you will have more energy and inspiration to move forward confidently in regards to communicating, technology, work, and what you do every day regarding you. And especially with that physical, wanting to change something physically and doing things with your health and your body, this is where you can really start motoring and, really start kicking goals in regards to plans and strategies. So now we're on to planet Venus. And Venus Aries rising for you rules your second house and your seventh house. So second house is your money, investments, assets. Seventh house, agreements, contracts, partnerships, and relationships. Venus is all about the love and connecting with women, with partners, with art, with things that seem ethereal. This is what we're drawn to. So Venus opening up the month of April is a transiting in Pisces, your 12th house, and this is Venus's sign of exaltation. So Aries rising, I would expect that you have been really indulging in tuning out, just getting back to you, really connecting with your partner behind the scenes. This is a lot of bedtime, a lot of sexy time for Aries rising with that exalted Venus in the 12th house, just really indulging, spending a lot of time on redecorating and, spending money on the self, indulging in your own personal pleasures when Venus in the 12th house is that transit going on for you, Aries rising. Well, on the 3rd of April, that Venus is conjuncting Neptune in Pisces. I like this. It's a great day, Aries rising, for just divine pleasure. Really just being seen as someone that's gluttonous, self-indulgent. This is the day where you really could just go, yeah, this is what I'm doing, this is what I love, and I don't have time really for reality on this day. I'm really tuning into things that I love. So this is a great day for a cosmic green pass, for you doing you and connecting with what you enjoy. And that could be pleasure behind the scenes with a partner, a love relationship, self-indulgence, and connecting with the spiritual world too. That Venus can conjunct Neptune, really ethereal and spiritual connections are possible. So if you want to get a tarot reading or an astrology reading, or do anything divinatory, it's a great day to do it. On the 5th of April, that Venus is going to ingress into Aries, your first house. relationships, partnerships, love is on the mind. And finances is on the mind when you've got Venus transiting in your first house. Do you want to invest in yourself? Do you want to spend some money on aesthetic things, change up your appearance? Are people looking at you or giving you a lot more attention than you have had for a long time? Wouldn't be surprised when Venus is transiting in your first house, Aries rising. On the 6th, we've got that Venus sextiling Pluto in Aquarius, so your first and 11th house is in a sextile. So Venus, Pluto, you could have an ally that comes through that really supports you financially, gives you a sense of a lot of self-worth and self-value. So I would liken this day as an Aries rising as someone being an advocate or ambassador for you. That's quite significant. That's going to, impact your public appearance and what you do professionally. So this is a great day for, basically someone's coming online and really all about Team Aries. On the 7th, we've got the moon in Aries conjuncting Venus in Aries, your first house. This is also the day before the eclipse, interestingly enough. So take note of that. So the moon in Aries, we're emotionally heightened about us. So we're very in tune with ourselves, conjuncting that Venus. So I do think you could be having the makeover or investing in something aesthetically for yourself, or just a big purchase that you've been wanting for some time, or you basically could have a windfall on this day. That's how I look at the 7th of April for Aries rising. On the 22nd, the moon in Libra, which is Venus's ruling sign, opposes Venus in Aries. So the 1st and 7th house. This is also the day before the full moon, interestingly enough, so keep that in mind. So the moon opposing. So on the 7th, that moon was conjunct Venus in your first sign. And on the 22nd, it's now opposing Venus in your first sign. So I do think that there's going to be a significant contract agreement between you and someone else, or a significant relationship is going to be highlighted on this day. That's very favorable for you. I think it's lucrative. I think it's got potential to really anchor into something quite beautiful. So if you're in a relationship or you're meeting someone on this day, I think this is the day where you could really commit. Or again, you can have financial agreement that's quite empowering for you, or gives you a sense of self-worth and self-value that you possibly haven't had for quite some time. On the 29th, that Venus ingresses into Taurus, which is her home sign, until the 23rd of May. So for you, Aries rising, this is your second house. So from the 29th to the 23rd of May, your second house, Venus, is transiting here for you. And Venus loves being in her home sign. She can put her feet up and do her own thing. So what does she like? Well, for you, Aries rising, she likes financial security. She likes the finances to be in order. She's all about self-worth and self-value. And if things need to be tweaked or something needs to be changed, she'll do so, because she's worth it. The juice is worth the squeeze when it comes to the self. So this is where you are really looking at your financial situation and how it impacts you regarding your physical appearance, your psychology, and your bank balance. Venus transiting your second house, Aries, enjoy that, because this is where relationships can really come online. You can have some really beautiful, intimate moments with a significant partner or relationship. You could be meeting someone that is going to be a delicious new start to a relationship. This is also where you could have a lot of financial support coming in, or finances now feeling like you've got it together in regards to your financial world. There is a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction on the 20th of April 2024. Quite simply, this means a new beginning in your second house of finances, assets, self-worth and self-value. You are done with an old way of dealing with finances or assets, and you're starting something new now. That's going to create a sense of change. You believe in the future of changing something up in regards to your valuables. And this is the day that X marks the spot, you're going for it. Now, your ruling planet Mars is in Pisces, as you know, in your 12th house. This planet Mars is sextiling Jupiter and Uranus on this day. So quite simply, that means, Aries rising, that you are releasing and changing something from the past that has been connected to you regarding your finances, and you are going in a different direction and changing things up. So you could be in debt, or you've been tied up with other people financially for way too long, or you've had addictions that have affected your finances, or things that aren't really serving you. And this is the day where you go, I'm done, I'm over it, I'm starting something new. And this is great because Mars, Jupiter and Uranus are all on board. They're all in it together. So it's like, yeah, Team Aries, let's do something different. Here is something new to do. So I think, Aries, that this is a really important date for you. And if you've been wanting to change up your financial standing, this is it. This is the day to do it. The conjunction opposes the 8th house of Scorpio, which is other people's valuables and assets that impact you. Also, your partner. It's also to do with debt, inheritance, things that are quite large in regards to large assets and wealth that impacts you. Well, because this conjunction is opposing it, it's as if something is trying to break through and change and disconnect you from other people's assets. I think this is potentially, Aries rising, a really significant day. I'm not suggesting that this is when you're going to win the lotto, but why not put a lotto ticket on or do something out of the blue in regards to that can bring you instant wealth. But it's got that feeling of, because it's opposing the 8th house, it's as if your self-worth and self-value or your assets oppose being connected with others. So it's like I want to release. So I think you really are leveling up here in regards to self-respect for yourself and your assets, and not giving so much of others or other people draining you and your assets. Now, Mars in your 12th house, being Pisces, is also in a trine to that 8th house of Scorpio, which is, the other sign ruler of Mars. So when you've got Mars also trining that opposition to Jupiter, it's like it's easier for you to break through, or easier for you to detach, or finances and valuables are easily available to start something new. Aries, I really think you're clearing the decks in regards to debt and connected with other people. That's what I really think is happening here, and this is like the beginning to, it's going to change in the future. So think assets, values, self-worth, finance, others, resources, possessions, and money and currency. This is what you need to possibly sit with for a little while, because there's a new cycle that's about to start and change. And I think you're going to like it, because Jupiter, Aries, and Uranus are all in harmony here. And it's like everyone's on board, and we're going for it, and we're changing, and it's going to be dynamic. It's going to really impact you quite significantly, but for the positive. It's like everything you've done or always been seen as done as natural, and this is just you. Well, it's like a completely different transformation. Again, I keep going back to that Phoenix rising from the ashes for Aries rising. I actually think this is true, especially when it comes to 12th house, 1st house, 2nd house. Cosmic Girl 101 signing off for the Aries rising video. So there was a lot in this video and content, which I really hope you get some value from, and take note of those key dates, because they are going to be really significant for all of us here on planet Earth. But for you, Aries rising, I've picked and dissected in particular places in the zodiac wheel where you are going to be feeling a lot of these transits this month. Have a blessed April, and I'll catch you in the next video.